the Toffee Blues Opposition View with me, Max. We've got Chelsea coming up on the weekend. Big game for the Blues, really. Kind of the game where if we manage to get a result, we can start looking up rather than looking down and start thinking if we can challenge for Europe. I've got Tom with me here from Blue Lions TV, my mate from uni. So nice to have you on, mate. How are you?
Cheers, I'm good. How are you, mate?
I'm very good, thanks. Right, just to get into the questions, really. You're the third in the league, 3 points off United, but 14 points off City. So it doesn't look likely that you're going to catch City, to be honest. It looks like they're really going to run away with the league, especially after you got beat 1-0 by West Ham. And as well, you've got Barcelona in the last 16 of the Champions League. So it's looking tough for you at the minute. What's the current vibe like amongst all the Chelsea fans?
It's a bit 50-50 because obviously everyone wanted the league again because we haven't won back-to-back titles since 4-5 and 3-4. But it's been okay, to be honest. League Cup semi-final, chance to win some silverware. I think we're pretty confident for Barca as well. I think we'll do Barcelona. We've got a good record against them. Just depends on what Chelsea turns up because we've had two teams this year. We've had the team that's played against Palace, West Ham, Burnley, and we've had the team that's battered Man United off the pitch, smashed Atletico Madrid away. It's just really 50-50 at the moment as to how we play.
Yeah, well, I think this kind of links into my second question in that Chelsea, to me, have always seemed to be one of those clubs that what goes on behind the scenes kind of dictates the whole mood of the club. There never really seems to be a completely happy camp, really. Yeah, and I was just kind of trying to go into the manager because I know it's quite all up in the air in a minute with Antonio Conte. Really, he was unhappy about not being able to get summer signings in, and there seems to be a misunderstanding and a bit of a disconnect between him and David Luiz at the minute. And obviously, I mean, I know you did win the league with him last season, and you did look unstoppable at times. But what's the take on him at the minute?
I think everyone adores Conte with a passion still. He's still the main chant during the games and everything because it's just the first time in ages that we've seen someone on the sidelines share the same passion that we've had, which has been really important because when you're used to having John Terry on the pitch, who used to be a fan and whatever, and sort of express that on the pitch, we were worried that we might lack it, but Conte's still there and everything. And I think for us now, we're getting to that stage where we're desperate just for someone to be there for 5-6 years, take over, win a bunch of stuff and just stay there. But I think Conte's coming out from his camp that he's homesick, that he could get the AC Milan job, because obviously they've got buckets of money now and they can just spend whatever they want. But Emanalo did recently leave, which has sort of changed his mood because he's the chief of transfers and obviously Conte didn't get anyone that he wanted basically in the summer. I mean, you just look at Zappacosta and he's awful. He's genuinely one of the worst footballers I've ever seen play, and he was like 15th choice. And we got Zappacosta. Luckily, we didn't get Lukaku. We got Morata instead, but because Morata's better than Lukaku, but he wanted Lukaku. He wanted another winger, didn't get anything. He didn't want Bakayoko. He wanted Fabinho instead, but we got Bakayoko. And it's just sort of been, he's not got the players he's wanted. Emanalo's bought the ones that Emanalo thinks is good. He's left though, so it's really up in the air as to whether he stays or not. Rumours that Carlo are back in London. Could get Ancelotti again.
Yeah.
I don't see us not liking Ancelotti again, but I'd rather have Conte. But it's one of those ones at the moment. It's always been like that with us. We've never had a manager who's been happy for 4 years or 3 years in a row. It's getting a joke now for us. But I like Conte. I want him to stay. He's got a lot of tactical nous as to what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think Barcelona's the big one. If we beat Barca, he's going to be for the rest of the season. If we lose to Barca, he's going to get rid of Conte, bring Ancelotti in. We're just going to start with Ancelotti until end of the season and start of next year.
Yeah,
I think it's a big one.
So as you mentioned there, you know, you did go into a bit. Obviously, you mentioned that there's been comings and goings in terms of transfer staff, things like that, and obviously someone that Chelsea seemed to be after in the summer was Ross Barkley. You know, the really strange story that in all terms and fees were agreed, and apparently like halfway through his medical, he just weren't fancying it. Apparently, he just cancelled his medical. And despite that, it still does look like there's some interest there. So possibly a move on the cards might be there for January. What do Chelsea fans think about that potential move? Do you feel like he could slot in to the Chelsea squad and show some consistency?
Well, for me personally, I look at what Conte's done with the likes of Moses and Alonso. They were bang average players, and he's turned them into proper class players now. That team of the season, winning titles and everything. They're playing really well, especially Alonso and Moses this season. Barkley is an option, helps fill the English quota for Champions League. It's really one which I'm thinking we'll take him because he's there and he can still play in Europe, but he's not someone that could necessarily improve us massively unless he can somehow manage to fill Fabregas's role, because he's been awful lately and Fabregas can't play football for us anymore. It's one of those ones. I'd be interested to see what Barkley does for us if we did get him or where he plays him. We might try and just convert him in just pure central midfielder, doesn't attack but he passes the ball, breaks the line. Who knows? It's going to be a weird one, Barkley, if we did get him.
Yeah, that's something that I just want to go into there. You mentioning about Fabregas. I mean, from kind of like the outsider looking in. I mean, and it's probably just come from how I've observed his career. Really, Fabregas has always seemed just a world class player, and he never really seemed to look anything other than world class. Why is there some discontent about him at Chelsea at the minute?
I think he's very much divided us, because everyone sees him play that amazing pass from 40 yards and it's fantastic. But if you watch the game regularly, unless you have legs around him, he can't play. If we play, because what we've been doing is when we've been playing a 3-5-2, we've put Bakayoko, Kante and Fabregas sits, which means that Bakayoko has to link up play, which he can't do because he's literally meant to win the ball, drive forwards. But then if we play Fabregas, Alonso doesn't know what to do, and neither does Moses, because if they could bomb forwards like they normally do, Fabregas is the holding midfielder and he can't tackle because he can't run anymore. And he's just always trying to play this amazing 40-yard pass. I mean, yesterday I counted at least 5 times where he's tried to play a ball over to Batshuayi, and even when Morata came on, not one of them worked out. But then people watch the highlights and see that he's done that pass for Williams' goal or whatever, and everyone's like, oh, he's brilliant. He shouldn't be starting this game on Saturday. If he starts, we're in real trouble. Big trouble if Fabregas starts this Saturday, 100%.
I mean, that's quite a bold statement, that, because something that I was going to get into. This is the third meeting between the sides this season, and I mean, the first time that they met was in the league at Stamford Bridge, and Fabregas was one of the scorers. I mean, we got beat 2-0, and it was a really poor Everton performance. It was really when people started taking notice of how poor Everton were actually playing, and I think that the score flattered Chelsea, to be honest, because Everton were really, really poor. And then obviously from that result we went on a dreadful run, and the first game after Ronald Koeman was sacked, David Unsworth was in charge for Chelsea again at Stamford Bridge, again in the League Cup, which from an Everton perspective, after seeing some of the performances under Koeman, for Unsworth to come in and to make the team look so defensively resolute and organised against Chelsea of all teams as well. For the first game he took in charge, it was the improvement was noticeable, really. The defensive line seemed to be really organised. No one really looked out of position, and that was an improvement from the 2-0. But as I'll say, we still ended up getting beat 2-1. Because Rudiger, man, was that his first goal for the club? Antonio Rudiger.
Do you know what? I can't remember. Did he even score that game?
Yeah.
It must have been, because he scored a couple of weeks later against Newcastle as well.
William scored, and then Dominic Calvert-Lewin managed to get one right at the end.
It was literally last kick, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we're going, as we're talking about, really, it's going to be the third meeting this season, and obviously because we're just playing you in the cup, obviously you rotated your team quite a bit there, and even then, there's something that I've always said about Chelsea. No matter what 11 they seem to field, they always seem to have star quality somewhere on the pitch that can win them again. So coming into this game, who do you think's worth noting that can cause damage?
Pedro loves a game against Everton.
Yeah.
I mean that 5-0 we played against you last season at Stamford Bridge, the best performance I've ever seen us play. I don't think you've done much wrong. That was the best I've ever seen us play.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people said that. And then obviously last year Pedro broke the deadlock at Goodison with that great strike, which obviously pretty much won the league for us. Pedro's going to be the big one, I think, in this game, because obviously Morata's now out.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to play a front three of Hazard, Pedro, Williams. He's not going to start Batshuayi after yesterday, which I quite like, because I think Ashley Williams is going to have a shocker against those three, just swapping over and kind of running around him. But then it's a weird one. Everton's always been a difficult one for us.
Yeah, it's because as I was going to mention, really, and as I said in the last episode when I was interviewing a Swansea fan, it's kind of the wrong time to be playing Everton, because we've completely turned around in form, and certainly defensively we've improved drastically. So I do feel like it's going to be a lot tougher than you expect.
I think it's going to. Do you know, Everton away is one of those games which is normally guaranteed to be a good one. I don't think I've been to Goodison and it's been a boring 0-0 game ever. It's one of those where if we turn up and perform like we have done in the past, we should win. But it's also one that if we turn up like we've played against Palace way, West Ham way especially, if we turn up like that, which Fabregas started in that one, it's just going to be bad for us, because we'll concede a goal either from a set piece, which I think is most likely against you lot, and we'll just go from there. It's very much on how he sets the team out with the mentality, because he's always putting into players at the moment that you've got to feel tired, you've got to feel leggy or whatever, which he has done, and they felt leggy last night. Even players that haven't been playing, they looked really slow and out of depth, especially like Danny Drinkwater. He played well, but he was just really slow and not with it. So I think it very much depends on the formation and who he plays. Yeah. If we are to win this game on Saturday, it's a big one for us.
Obviously, as you mentioned before about Morata being out, a real weird incident last night. He's celebrating the pregnancy. We put the ball under his shirt, celebrating his pregnant girlfriend after he scored the late winning goal against Bournemouth. So now he's out on Saturday. How do you feel like you're going to compensate for his absence, and how will the squad change?
We're going to still have to play 3-4-3. We can't play with two up top, because he's either going to have to play Batshuayi and Hazard, or he's going to play two smaller people up top, which isn't going to work. You need someone to win it in the air, then link it on. So he's going to have the front three is definitely going to have to be Pedro, Willian, Hazard, and they'll just rotate in between each other. For me, it's whether he has to play in midfield, Bakayoko and Kante. That's the big one. If he plays those two sitting, we've got a really good chance of getting at you and going, because our wing backs then can just bomb forward. So we pretty much then got everyone going forward apart from Bakayoko, Kante, and the three centre backs. That's the big key for me. If Bakayoko and Kante plays, if he starts Fabregas, we're just going to be slow. We might struggle to retain the ball a bit more, because he's always looking for the pass over the top. Yeah. It's the big ones, the midfield battle, I think, on Saturday.
Yeah, so what's your score prediction for this? Because it is a really weird game. It's a weird game to predict, because
it is.
The two teams, in terms of their defensive systems, they seem to be really solid at the back, and it just seems to be kind of hit and miss going forward, especially with William being out. So what do you think the score will end up? Do you think it'll be an open game, or do you think it'll be...
I think it could be the worst game at Goodison I've had in ages, because you think you'll defend, I think we'll defend, and we'll just sort of wait until it gets that mark where one of us pushes. My head's telling me that we're probably going to lose, because Allardyce always does a job on us. Big time, he always does a job. I'll go 2-1, just because Rooney always scores against us as well. I think we'll win 2-1, but that is a very unoptimistic 2-1 win for us.
I mean, If Allardyce manages to do a job on you again, we'll take that all day, mate. You know, just to end on this, obviously we always ask a question away from the football just to end the show. What's your favourite film?
Can I say two?
Go on.
White Chicks, because it was on last night and it is so funny. You can't beat a bit of shit film. White Chicks, and I like Secret Life of Walter Mitty as well. Really let it out.
Right, so that's it for this week. Everton against Chelsea this weekend on Saturday at Goodison Park. It's been my mate Tom on from the Blue Lions TV. So thanks for coming on, mate, and
cheers.
May the best team win on Saturday.
Yeah, good luck. Too much good luck.
Cheers, mate. So that's it for this week's Opposition View. Thanks for Tom for coming on again. He's a good mate of mine from university. I'm sure whenever we play Chelsea again, he'd be more than willing to come on. Thanks for you for watching as well. If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, let us know your views. If you're a Chelsea fan, it'd be nice to hear your opinion. Make sure you subscribe. And if you're listening via podcast, then make sure you rate it and give us a subscribe as well. I've been Max for the Toffee Blues.